I could shrink that a really long ways. Hold on. I don't see anything on this chat, so let's see. Just go straight to it. It's really that hard. My channel. Let's see. There's lag. There's a lot of lag. So pretty. Anyway. Yeah. I don't know. I wish somebody was in the chat. That'd be great, because then I can tell. I got one viewer. Hi, one viewer. How are you doing? Probably Simba. Probably Simba. If you could put something down in the chat, I'd like to see if it shows up on the live stream for through this end. Because there's the Hangout one, and then there's the one for YouTube. So I want to see if it pops up for Hangouts over here on this side. Because I mean the other one, I have it just sitting here. So I can close it out whenever I'm able to tell if I can see the comments right there. Or the chat. It says group chat, so it should show it. But yeah. Who knows? Let's just give that. Oh. Oh no. Hey, and Simba. Simba. My bad. So it's gonna show up there, but not over there. That is just so whack. Okay. How you doing, Simba? You are immortalized. Welcome to the live stream. Minnie may still be asleep, yes. Minnie will definitely be asleep. It's 10 a.m. here. Makes sense. Still is really early. It's just really late, and I'm felt like doing a live stream. Just one of those things where I just have a random draw to do something. Yeah, I ended up listening to Mark Kahn from a request by Julia, who is extremely helpful. Yeah, we're talking about dignity and vibration and how basically the entire time we're here, we're trying to take back our dignity rather than allow it to be taken by other people. And then the process of the understanding of what it means to have a high or a low vibration just depends on how quickly you rebound from something. What time is it there? It is 1:37 a.m. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be 2. I'm probably going to end this at 2:30, possibly. Depends on where my knowledge takes me, I guess. Speaking of knowledge. Can you hear me all right, Simba? You're the exact person that needed to hear this then. But yeah, I should share that. I think she did share it on the regular group chat. Oh, I'm glad, because all I'm using is this little mic here. It works really well. I can't hear how I sound unless I unmute that. Can't tell. After I took my shower and after I trimmed all this off, I was thinking about how I look like Billy Zane. I don't know why. But yeah, dignity. What he said about dignity was really good. I had a better understanding of why we have names in the first place. Because one of the biggest things is, why do we have names? Especially if we're so gung-ho in being something other than who we are at times. So he talked about how dignity is allowing people in, but not allowing them to make you feel sorry for expressing who you are, or being less than who you are. So when you introduce yourself, or when you're around people, you're comfortable with yourself. You're not someone or something else trying to hold on to that person because you think that they're going to disappear on you. And dignity is just realizing that you don't need other people in order to make you feel whole. You have you, and you are enough. That you have all the time in the world to be with other people, but so long as you don't carry yourself with a certain amount of dignity, you're always going to have a kind of hard time introducing yourself as you and actually owning your genuine qualities and growing from your experiences rather than being ashamed of them. You have dignity when you're able to no longer allow other people to step all over you, and for your name to never be something that, like, if you introduce yourself, you're not saying it as a, oh, you know, I'm Marcus, like I'm hurting to say it, or I'm Marcus, like I'm firm and I'm steady. It's like, I'm Marcus Sherall Jackson, comfortable with being who I am, so I can introduce myself comfortably rather than sounding like I'm to be pitied, I'm the shame of the family, or I'm trying too hard to be something I'm not. But all these things come across when you have a certain amount of dignity, is how Mark Kahn put it. Markkhn. I do believe Melody shared it on the Soul group chat, but it's really good. Basically, what is love? I think it was called. I watched it not too long ago, so where's the moment? What it means to heal. Oh, and it's Matt Kahn. My bad. Matt. I even put that wrong in the tag. Oh well. Too many M's. We are the givers of meaning. We are inspirational sparks of our individual expressions of the source. We are each unique and divine in our own way, and with each way that we express ourselves, whether it be through talents, arts, crafts, doesn't matter, we're all expressing something, and that expression is why we are here. We are to express these things to each other and to the world as a whole, and when we're able to do so, we're able to change things for better and for, you know, there's got to be balance for everything. Except when there isn't balance to begin with, then there's the one side teetering and the other side has to catch up. So I guess this is the year of catching up. closing the gap between those who are creating for the sake of others and those who are creating for the sake of themselves. But you're always going to be self-serving was another thing. So how do you heal? Is basically you heal when you're able to hold your own dignity. You're able to hold on to yourself, but you're also willing to respect other people no matter what they're like. They could be as far away from dignified and have any idea of how people view them through stereotypes or what they've heard about the person. They would allow those thoughts, those ideas about the person to become the person's identity over the scars and over the pain that that person had on their own. So when you take that away from someone, you're essentially robbing them of who they are. You're robbing them of what their name means. And one of the examples that he gave, Matt, he gave a homeless person. It's like basically if you can make eye contact with a homeless person, you already gave them the respect and the dignity they deserve, especially if you're someone who is holding a higher love, a higher frequency, a higher expression of self. You're willing to look someone else in the eye and give them back their dignity because you're identifying with them the moment you make eye contact. That's why eye contact is such a powerful thing. And I've experienced this when I was homeless, is that it's like a magnetism when you lock eyes with someone. And that magnetism is, it's so unique because for each person, it's almost like that energy you're able to read off the person. You know exactly what they're about when you make eye contact with someone, depending on how sensitive you are to that. For me, before I went out to Michigan, I would have a difficult time making eye contact because for me, and as he expressed in his video, was that most people don't know what they're really worth when it comes to their dignity and how much they express themselves and how little they express themselves. And that dignity shows, and that level of love also shows, depending on how much eye contact you can make with someone else. And that's also why you'll find people who disengage eye contact with you, is because there's a certain amount of love and respect that you're giving them that they don't feel ready for. And I've met plenty of people that I could look at and they'll dart their eyes left or right or down or up somewhere other than my eyes. And there are people who will hold eye contact with me for a really long time. And I think I brought this up in the last live stream that I actually did that. Yeah, you resonate. I'm glad. I'm glad you're resonating. This is for you then. Yeah, eye contact is a huge thing. It's so big on its own, but so many people don't understand it to the point where it becomes like a taboo. It's like to look someone in the eyes is almost like what would it be like looking at somebody when they're naked or in the shower or something. It's like lewd almost, because it's so raw. The person that you see that you're making eye contact with, it's so raw and so vital that most people don't do it, or they more like lock eye contact to find weakness, because I've seen that happen too. Like people will make eye contact and then be like super serious about it, and it's like they're trying to burrow into your head. That's why they say the eyes are the distance. So yeah, because you, depending on how sensitive you are, it's like no one can hide from you when you look at them in the eyes. And when they know you can look through them, they tend to shift eye contact or shift attention away from themselves. There's so much you can learn from making eye contact with someone. It's insane. But the same thing about having just a communication with someone, you can find out a lot. And depending on how much you're willing to invest in understanding someone else or understanding someone else, it will take a greater amount of time or a shorter amount of time, depending on how focused you are on getting through. I've met quite a few people, and I mean few as in these are people of potential versus having a quantity of people but having very narrow avenues for each one of these people's expressions. And with each expression, they either get more information or they get less information. And one of the things I saw that I wanted to talk about, but Selena and Sonia, I wasn't there, but one of the things was giving a seed, and they were talking about it in Kelly's live on Patreon, was it was information. Basically, like if you're giving information from Sonia's point of view, if you give the information at any point, and even if they're not ready for it, in some way you're going to hold on to it. And then Selena's like, if you're in control of how much you get, then technically you're not going to get anything at all if you don't want it. So I always wanted to say, like, both are true, because there are going to be people who absolutely have no control, and they're going to get bits and pieces of everything. So it's like the flare of dignity right there. Like they understand themselves to a certain degree, because I feel like dignity is understanding yourself, but it's also holding your name of value. Because another thing was Matt was saying is your name needs to be buffering. That's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. There we go. Had to fix that. My bad. Welcome to live chat. Yay. Nothing really going on in live chat. But yeah, there's the whole idea behind clean your name. You're cleaning your name. You're cleaning off how people react when you say your name, and you're cleaning off how you react primarily to your own name, because that's a sign of your dignity, is exactly how you identify with how you're identifiable in this reality as who you are and what you say about your name and how you express yourself when you say your name. That's another thing that he was talking about when it came to dignity. It's like dignity is such an interesting thing, because it's one of the few things that I heard about when it came to spirituality. It's like, I know respect is one of the things that are really high, but dignity was one of those things that never showed up. That's like, how can you start a conversation about dignity when nobody talks about dignity? What does it mean to have dignity and to also be someone who is pursuing answers? Was the thing. It's like, well, you can pursue answers, and you can also get what you're looking for when you start being your authentic self, and you also stop needing to say sorry, apologize, or give up your dignity to serve someone else or serve anything else. other than yourself. Because self comes first, as all things. I wonder if I brought it up already, but that thought is coming to mind, is when I was walking by this one guy. I was walking by him, and he was talking to another guy that was like acting all like, oh, I'm just passing through town, and I don't really have a lot of money on me, but I'm pretty sure I'll be alright. And there was a guy sitting next to him that was talking to him, and he wanted to give him money, and the guy was turning him down, but instead of stopping, the guy just kept going up in price, but the guy wasn't technically saying no. So for me, that raised like all kinds of flags. I was like, this guy wants to take advantage of this guy, and it's like this guy doesn't see it, so he wants it in a way. Like, he wants to feel charitable, but he's literally seeking out a dude who looks shady. I could have read that entire situation wrong, but from what he was saying and the body language, it looked that way, so I can only interpret as such from my perspective. But yeah, Michigan was a strange place. Its weather was wacky, and its people very accepting of anybody, as long as they weren't causing trouble, and depending on what neighborhood or who you talk to, they were either very interesting individuals that were willing to talk, or they were very closed off and didn't really care much for conversation or making time to understand anyone else's plight. Because I came across like one Christian my entire time out there, and then I met the other kind of Christian, the ones that aren't open-minded, not willing to talk, and don't trust anyone. I saw them, and it was pretty much what I expected. They weren't willing to help me at all. And they were the owners of the building that the guy was using, because they like live on the ground floor, and then there's like a side door that goes upstairs, and the open-minded Christian lived upstairs, and I left my boots there. I couldn't get my boots back because this husband and wife weren't really willing to trust nor work with me to get things to work, so I guess he needed those boots more than I did. All things for a reason. But yeah, vulnerability is the ability to hold your own ground and to never be swayed, or can't say never. I can't say never. But vulnerability comes with dignity, I believe, from what he was talking about. Did you get your boots back? I never got my boots back. Spoilers, the boots are gone. The boots have been needed by a Christian man more than I needed them. But then again, anyone I talked to in Michigan just sort of disappeared. Like, I never saw anyone outside of Camp Owasabi, more than once. So literally everyone I've come across, as far as I could tell, had an entire life change pretty much the day after I left. Like, the days I was gone, everything changed for like other people. It was strange. But yeah, I never got my boots back. I left my contact information with a bar that I went to. That was interesting, because they ended up like watching over me like most people do when I'm off adventuring or doing something that's spontaneous. There will always be somebody who's like watching me closely. Like, I have a lot of physical guardians or guides, whatever you call them. And they're usually watching me, making sure I know what it is I'm attempting to do. It's a really weird way of putting it, but basically they'll be there until I figure it out, and then they'll disappear. They are a lot like characters. Because it was like the open-minded Christian, the closed-off husband and wife Christians, the interesting bar patrons, the bartender, like the hard on the outside, soft on the inside bartender, the bartender's husband, who's pretty much soft all around. he was a cool guy. I like recorded different conversations. Caveman, basically, he was very. I only called him Caveman because he had a lot of hair on his chest, and he would usually run around without his shirt on whenever he got the chance. And he was just a happy-go-lucky guy. A Mambo priestess, so basically a practitioner of Mambo, which is voodoo. Two gay friends. My bad. Bi friend and the super straight guy. Yeah, that's it. The overachieving boss, because he was an Eagle Scout, and he was also a ladies volleyball. I think it was volleyball. It was something. It was like a ladies Olympic team that would always get silver or higher, silver or gold, whenever he was their coach. I think the hardy bosses, or the hardy managers that are reckless on the inside on their free time, that ended up getting them hurt really bad during my trip there. I'm actually in the middle of writing a book. I don't think I posted that on the Cosmic Family chat. I might have. I think I did. But yeah, I'm writing a book, except it's more like it's every nuance understanding that I have, like universe and stuff like that. It's like taking words apart and looking at it from different perspectives and sharing my multi-purpose expression, because I tend to shift a lot. Yeah. Now you know. I was going to ask you how your book is doing, or if you've been working on it, because I need to start using a different computer, because the one I'm using right now for this chat is wanting to be dumb about its Word program, because Windows 10 is a nightmare. Windows 10 is always finding different things to make you pay for everything that they got, and then product keys and Microsoft accounts, and just gotta wait till the owner of this computer, I can get them to fix that. I still gotta start. Oh well, I'm glad that you got your computer to do it now. Oh yeah, It's been a while since I wrote a book, actually, because I started one in high school. It was about creating a character that's based on kind of like the idea that you can get cursed by Norse things and then go from there. A line of inheritance and all that, and it all kind of, it actually helps that I've already figured out how to end cycles, and that's what I can use that other book for, is ending cycles. Because I think one of the biggest things that I've told people is that children aren't here to be perpetual slaves to their family members, because I've seen a parent who very non-parent because I know if the person that watches this by the first name starting with a D, he'll know exactly who I'm talking about. It's like, but everyone's here for a reason, so learned. But basically everyone's here to end a cycle. We all start with one, and we either allow it to continue to infect every part of our life and eventually affecting our children, or we end it ourselves and make sure that our children never have to do it. It's the idea of, I'm going to change the world and make it a better place than when I came into it, because I have to find my dignity, undo, and return to my genuine sovereign self. Because sovereignty is the idea of being a ruler in yourself, not allowing others to rule you, to take your power, to be high vibration in the idea or in the concept that you're high vibrational due to the fact that you can bounce back quickly from anything, or you bounce back relatively quick when it will lay everyone else out for a while. So basically being Xanvast, Arthur, he's still doing pretty well right now, so basically being Xanvast is how quickly you bounce back, or you don't bounce at all. High vibrational stuff, or low vibrational. Sometimes you just, the woe is me, and why me? Lucian is having a great time. Wonder if he's gonna join. I just saw him leave a message on the group chat. I'm trying to remember exactly what you were going to write your book on. I think it was based around the ideas of psychology, I believe. But do correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I think if we had a whole bunch of people that were willing to write and stuff like that all in the same room, especially with our group, that would be like an interesting powwow of ideas. Just a flood of ideas and different ways of expressing said ideas. Just be a multitude of perspectives given off. But man, I met so many different perspectives in Michigan. I could actually write an entire book, but I think I would rather either do this YouTube thing and do live chats in order to talk about those experiences, or do like public speaking, so I can have an experience to share story-wise about all the people that I met and the different ways that I've met them. I would really like to do that for like if I started doing anything live, like in front of an audience and all that. So, yeah. Because having a live audience would do really well. Because I want to do public speaking, that would be great. Because we all talk with a certain amount of authenticity. It's just that when we don't engage in our authenticity, it gets buried underneath everything else. And then it's like for people who are empathic, they tend to lose themselves and their character and who they are to someone else. TED Talk. Yeah, TED Talk. I don't even know what it would take to actually be on a TED Talk. Because usually the people I see are either people who have very interesting ideas or just people who've like gotten around already and have like a name for themselves. So then they do the TED Talk, and that just like propels it further because TED Talk has its own group. But then again, one guy was just talking about experiences, and he was talking about how shamans go through psychosis prior to becoming the village shaman. So there's that. That's just an experience. That's talking to people and getting a story. And when you have other people's stories, it helps to craft a larger narrative for all the different intertwining webs of understanding, understanding. But yeah, if whoever wanted to write a book in our group got together and just started throwing ideas around and concepts around, I'm pretty sure it'd go pretty far. There's any number of different expressions out there, and we all trade those stories around. 2:11 here now. So early in the morning. I'm feeling it. Yeah, I feel like I fell out of sync for a little while with what I was trying to do and where I was going. Because it's so easy for the idea that if you just jump in head first, feet first, head first, you're just going to land wrong, possibly. But basically, if you go in blind around where you're going, and if this entire thing has been leading up to you being successful, that means you have to take that leap first. What we call leap of faith. I'm finally getting there where I'm ready for a leap of faith. I can go do something because I've experienced so many things that people were so afraid of in my experience. Like the biggest thing was my brother. He was afraid of the idea of homelessness, and I talked to him about it. Like if you're homeless, you're not bound to anything. You're able to just keep going. And for him, it was like, no way. Like I can't live that life. And the entire expression for that experience, or the entire context and narrative, was that I was going for if you could just get up and walk outside and go meet a random stranger, and that stranger propelled an entire journey for you to go on, and all it started was you just talking to this person. It's like, would you be willing to go even if you don't know where you're going? And it's a guarantee that you're going to travel the entire world. And his thing was like, oh, no, that's not the life for me. It's like, not everybody can live that life. It's like, and plus there's people out there that can hurt you, and there's people out there that are they're not going to be so good for your health and all this other stuff. And I was just like, there's so much that was wrapped up in the idea or the concept that we can't have our own identity and we can't have our own individual freedoms. Like, if you wanted to get up and leave and do something for a while, just escape your entire life. It's not really escape, but step away from your entire life. It would be, how would you work? How would you be able to go from any area of your life and step into the new one? How are you able to go from an experience that just takes you far away and then brings you back home to where everything, as far as you know, is still the same? So that was a big thing that threw me off for a long time. It caused a huge confusion in my life. Was how can you be able to express yourself and also be able to be free to implement what is new into your life? And one of the biggest things was does any of it connect? Does any of it correlate? Can you take that freedom that you had and immediately use it on your surrounding the moment you come back to it? Because there was always like an idea of stagnation. Like, if you come back to old energy, to old processes, to old thinking, where does the new add into that? And that was the thing. Hopefully she sees that and we can get Shelly on here. That'd be cool. I haven't seen her in the live chat. But yeah. So that was another thing that I was trying to get a grip on, was how much of your integrity is damaged when your beginning feat is being at home. Like, where do you even begin when working with the people that you've lived with for a long time, who've found ruts to sit in, and who, in their own way, express themselves in a way that is counterintuitive to what it is that they're trying to do? I guess it's dignity. It comes back to dignity, because there's a lot of times that the most immediate people in our lives, that they don't have a lot of dignity. They've put it all away because they now have to be a parent, or they now have to be this specific role, and they lost their titles. And that was another thing, was it's like, instead of taking up, oh, I'm a spiritualist, I'm a goddess, it's like, first you gotta clean up your name. It's like, so that your name becomes the new nickname of God, goddess, which makes sense. Because your name is going to be the one people are either going to know or they're not going to know. Because there's the whole idea of, I guess, YouTubing and gaming where you're not using your real name, you're using a gamer tag, or you're using something else to keep your identity from the world. When I think that's the biggest problem is if you're hiding behind another identity, then no one's ever going to really know who you are, and you're never going to be able to fully express yourself either. Because so long as you're capable of hiding, and you believe that hiding is what you need, then you're never going to get that integrity back. You're never going to get your dignity. You're never going to clean your name. You're never going to hold that title high, because you're going to be like, oh, well, for my case, since I'm a gamer, it's Fenrit for PlayStation Network, and as Fenrit, I don't have to deal with people calling me by name, people doing anything about my name, Googling it, Facebook searching it, nothing like that. It's so strange. It's strange how unique a name is, yet so many people, including myself, choose a different name. I feel like it comes in with how much knowledge you're gaining, or rather how much you understand how names work, because names can have a lot of power, and especially your own name. It has infinite significance because it's the one that you chose coming into this life, according to Ryan Cropper, who did his own regression sessions and looked at his own childhood, realized that it's his expression of who he is the name. And that makes sense, because from one correlation to the other, of course, you're going to know a large amount of who you're going to be and what you are. And another one is how far you're willing to go. Thanks, Emma. Because it's every other link except that one. And he shared it again. Simba is the best viewer. The best viewer. He's the best viewer. He's getting the word out there all the time. You're welcome. You're the best viewer. You're very consistent with how much you support what you're watching. Yeah, cleaning up your name. It's a very interesting concept. For some reason, I couldn't watch Matt or any other teacher for a while. You're welcome. You're welcome. Very welcome. Because there's a huge difference. I couldn't watch anybody for a while because it was like, I already know. Like a sense that I already know. And consistent and persistent. It's an interesting combination. It's a good thing to be, especially if you're aspiring for something. If you're consistent and persistent with being like a better person or doing the things you enjoy and stuff like that, that's really good to have. I hope eventually somebody joins me on here, because I would love some back and forth talking with someone. Because it's easy to get tossed off into a tangent. And my friend that I run around with and live action role play with, he was talking about how I'm the worst at going into tangents. And I was like, tangents? They're basically the fruit of life. And without tangents, then there would only be tangerines. And my other friend said that he was gonna die. Yeah, they're still chatting in the group. Well, if they show up, then, the more the merrier. But if they're gonna chat in the group, that's fine too. Don't matter, it's gonna be there, so if it draws their attention, they'll watch it. Tangerines, I just had some. I know, I love tangerines. Shelly! Hey, Shelly. We were talking about dignity. Tangerines, and cleaning your name, and also how many characters I ran into, like very character-like people that I met in Michigan. I met a lot of people. The open Christian, the closed Christians, the helpful barmaid. The barmaid or barkeeper, I don't even know who's who, but they were all pretty cool. Oh yeah, and the bi guy who is more into Adams than Eve's. He's another thing. He's another thing entirely. Oh yeah, and so it doesn't throw you guys off. I dislike using woman and man as much since I really thought about it, and it always makes women seem like they're second to man, even though it's human race. I see man more as an expression of everyone, not as if you have a burly chest and a deep voice, then you're a man kind of thing. Everybody's human. So, yeah. Adam guy, Eve lady. Guys and ladies. But yeah, he was more into guys than ladies, and the priestess was trying to get them to be in a relationship altogether. Well, Lucian. Oh, poor Lucian. He wanted to join. All good, Lucian. All good. Yeah, he was more into dudes than chicks. Yeah, there's so many different ways of expressing the same idea. They're different words, but yeah. And he was trying to hit on me, I think. He said if I had a cousin that looked like me, let them know that he was interested. That was an interesting experience. It was really weird too. But it was cool. Yeah, we talked about dignity, Shelley. It was basically if you can lock eyes with someone that is homeless and care about them just as much as you care about anyone in your life, and show them unconditional love as you would show a pet or family member or a child, then you are showing that person respect on such a level that it brings back who they are, brings back the name to the face, that kind of thing. Like when you're able to lock eyes with someone, then you're willing to see them for who they are. And I can relate to that because I've done that before. I've seen a lot of people, and I've been able to put names to faces a lot easier when I make eye contact with them versus not eye contact with them. Because usually when I'm kind of ducking away from eye contact, I can never fully devote myself to remembering somebody's name. But I also have it really bad that I remember faces really well, but I will never. Names are a little more they can be up in the air sometimes. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff on this live stream. I don't know if it counts as tangents. It all kind of counts as tangents, but if you have any questions, Shelly, do leave them in the chat, and I'll answer them if you have any. And Simba, you too, if you have any questions. I know you've asked quite a few things, or at least shared your perspective and enthusiasm in the chat. Because I'm usually laid back and just somewhat channeling information. For some reason, it's really easy to remember faces. Names are something else entirely. I think it's just because it also comes off as when somebody introduces themselves, their names are always kind of like, hey, my name is... Like, it almost has like no emphasis. Like there's no pride in it, no dignity. Even older people, I can hardly remember their names. And I just met 2 elderly people who are related to my friend that I did the eye contact thing with, to look at past lives and intent and all that stuff, which was interesting. But I met his grandparents. I guess his second set of grandparents on the father's side, not the mother's side. I really don't know how it works, but I couldn't remember their names either. Yeah, this January seems like it kind of represents the entirety of 2018. If there are certain things that you haven't gotten past yet, or things that you haven't started, it's almost like a reminder. It's like a reminder of all the things that you either have yet to accomplish, or things that you are getting yourself ready to accomplish. Because January is just really interesting. At least I know I've seen, like, in the chat group that we have, like, people who are either up or down, or kind of just up and down at the same time, having a good old time. And yeah, I've sort of had that, where it's like, if I don't change something and commit to it, that thing is going to bug me for a while, and it's going to be painful to keep. So I've experienced that here in January. I always seem to run into people they're transitioning. Like, they're going from being stagnant and, like, not really rocking the boat to wanting to rock the boat and knock the whole thing over. I think the only time I've actually met multiple people and their whole life hadn't changed is when I came back. Because that's when I've met Paris and all other kinds of people. They've had their lives changed, but they haven't entirely exited my life. But for, like, Michigan trip, everyone that I, like, met pretty much exited my life and either got better or worse, and then turned themselves around. So it's a very interesting bit of shifts that happened. So it goes to show that a lot of energy, regardless of how it's used or where its focus is, it helps people return. It helps people get on track. But I think it has a lot to do with if you're saying something that's meaningful, or if you're doing something that means something to you, and you're happy being who you are and you're capable of being that completely, then you're going to affect other people. It's never a question of what exactly happens. It's more like it's inevitable that it's going to happen. And it's like domino effect. You affect one person, that person goes on to affect another person, and so on, so forth, until it comes back to you. Because it all works kind of like a toroidal field too. Because when you draw in the energy to expression, and then you allow it to go out through your own avenues, it will always come back to you. Which makes a lot of sense. Because Kelly has a lot of room for success because she's done so much out of being genuine and caring about other people to the point where it can be borderline detrimental to her. She's still willing to go that extra mile to help other people. She's willing to facilitate that energy and allow it to go out without needing to control exactly the outcome entirety. Which makes a lot of sense, which is why she would definitely get a lot of paid forward information and people willing to work with her this year versus every other year, because during the every other year would be still reclaiming the things that were taken, in a sense. Kind of, we're like buried. Anything that's buried eventually comes back. And for better, because it's always betterment when you take the lesson as is versus allowing it to taint you or make you miserable. So long as you're willing to find something, anything, a future to gravitate towards, you can do it. I have yet to watch that because it was still buffering when I was about to go watch it. The mini 30 days of manifestation challenge. Did I watch it? I think I watched it. Query. Lucian, if you watch this later, thank you. I'm never aware of what kind of energy I'm giving off. She will go on Patreon every day now. Oh my god. So are you ready to get your whip out every day to ensure that she is there every day? It's a New Year's miracle. Very good, Shelley. Cleaning out the closet is like, it's so fulfilling. For every bit of energy that you feel, or every bit of energy that you have that comes off of you, sticks to clothing and your entire environment. So when you have things sitting around in your closet that you don't touch, it's usually best to just toss them. I'm glad you are, Simba. Well, that's understandable. But she did say 30 days of manifestation every day. Some days isn't all that bad. Because I know she still has clearings and other people who need her input and attention, like her husband or her cats. Because animals, they do need attention sometimes. Cats less than dogs, but still, because of sessions. Yeah, she would definitely have the sessions and the things that were booked that she would have to take care of, because they paid a good amount of money to have that taken care of, to go do that kind of stuff. Oof. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. I'm glad that she's doing that, because I think December we only have like a handful of videos from her. I don't remember there being a lot in December. That's all good. She's doing the best she can. That's all I can really ask for anyway, because you're gonna get what you need, and she's definitely somebody who's going along and taking those steps. And I've actually cleared out my closet after I came back from I think after I came back, sometime after I came back from Michigan, I ended up cleaning out my closet. I felt so good. Felt great. Exactly, Shelly. Wink. Anyway, we definitely need to come together. I think that's what she was going to say on one of the Instagram things when I told her that we are going to do a live, or that I did a live, and that was inviting you guys on and talking to you guys and seeing if we can get everybody together. And she sounded super psyched about it, and she was about to say something, but then it like cut off. Yeah, it's time to clean out the closet. I don't really have a closet anymore. My parents do, and my mom just rearranged her room, so they did the whole, or she did the whole rearranging thing. So something changed. I don't know what, but something changed. Every time I see someone cleaning something that they don't usually clean, or they do something outside of their usual routine, I'm just like, something changed. I don't know what did, but something changed, and she ended up cleaning up her room and changing it so the energy flow is much better. I wonder how long I'm going to be on here. No idea. That's the best part. I have no idea how long I'm going to be on here. Anyway, what was I thinking? I was thinking of something. I was processing something. But yeah, I'm glad that Netflix has that show out with the Spark of Joy, because I feel like a lot of people really need to hear that right now. That you should be giving just as much respect to dignity to your stuff as you would a person. And because you can give it to stuff, then you can give it to people, and then all that stuff goes back to you, because it will vibrate at the same frequency. Not even vibrate, I shouldn't say that. It will hold the same energy as you do when you are going through it. That makes a lot of sense. And that is a very good practice to have, actually. Ritual. It's a very good ritual to have. So then you'll know what does serve you and what will never serve you again, and it can just go away. Yeah, because you were in London for a while, so yeah. But you came back to Germany. I'm looking forward to meeting everyone. I think that's going to be awesome. so many things can get done. So many things can be manifested, projected, because everyone's in that flow right now anyway. There's just going to be like a cyclone. It's just going to be a cyclone of things. Step into a building. The arrangement of all the goods and things are out of whack and not to our liking. Step outside for a little bit, project a new layout, and step back in the next day, and that layout is the layout that we projected. That would actually be pretty interesting. It'd be really cool. Yeah, that's a really good question. As soon as possible. I was talking to Selena, and she was like, get your passport. So I have my regular passport, like a US passport, but I can also get my European passport, which will probably work even better. And I need to allow a certain amount of flexibility, because right now this household, the way it runs, is unflexible. It needs to be more flexible. I need to find a way to make it flexible. I need to know what it means to be flexible. Still, yeah, everybody's still super stoked about going to Germany, and I still think, since mushrooms are legal over there, that we find somebody who knows their stuff about mushrooms and take them and then wander off into the Black Forest. I think that'd be fun. That'd be my idea of fun, but also very interesting to see what everybody goes through when they do something like that and go through the Black Forest. Because the Black Forest is like a center ley line, I believe, for the energy meridians of the planet. Something like that. I ended up watching something not too long ago, just like an hour ago, that my mom was interested in, and it was about them finding out that root canals and stuff like removing teeth and stuff like that can cause an abscess of gangrene and stuff like that because of dead flesh or infected tissue, infected teeth could get into the gums and stuff like that and cause problems in the body that act like autoimmune and depression and all these other things, and exhaustion, it causes exhaustion and all these other things that could happen inside of the body. And the lady was talking about meridians in the body, energy meridians, basically where your body has specific areas where it nestles energy cores, because there's energy cores all throughout the body. And she found some through applying electricity to a pressure point and using it to measure if there's any blocks, if there's any disturbances in the meridians or in the flow of information. It's called like the root cause. It's on Netflix. I think that part is interesting. All the other stuff is really odd. It's like they were talking about how cancer is made more common because of the problems that they don't foresee when they give root canals and remove wisdom teeth and stuff like that. It's like because you need a certain kind of scan, because when they scan your teeth with the little plastic bits or however it's done, wherever each of you wonderful people are, you have my unconditional love and respect. Just gonna say that now. And I'm glad that anyone who watches this now, future, or otherwise, glad you're here. Share into the grab bag of abundance. I like seeing a bag there. There's just a bag there. whole bunch of energy in it. It will give blessings and it will give boons to anything that you are attempting to do in the future and for the foreseeable future. Yeah. Due to them not having enough information on how certain things work, they ended up causing many problems inside of the body and hurting people and causing cancer to spike because of the energy meridians being interrupted. So it was interesting that they talked about something like that and then energy meridians. Talking about teeth and then how energy flows throughout the body and how if it's disrupted, it can cause a lot of damage inside the body, specific organs, and the thyroid and all that. I'm gonna be a rock star. I'm gonna go places. That's the intent right now. I'm gonna be a rock star. I'm gonna go places. We're all gonna go places. We're all gonna go to Germany and we're gonna meet up. We're gonna have brunch. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have brats and sauerkraut and I don't drink. Something delicious. Some Danishes. Awful turnovers. All kinds of things. Yeah. Should probably use my Duolingo to get acquainted with German again, because I did that for a short time. Gotta do that again. Well, hopefully this live stream is informative, interesting, has something for everybody. I don't really know what else there is to express. I guess readings. If anybody wants a reading, I can do that real fast. Oh. I don't mind doing readings. I went to Germany when I was too young to remember. Like, I don't think I was months old, but I think I was like years old. And I had like really bad ear infections when I was young. So yeah, I've been, but I've never been to experience it again as an older individual, as somebody with the ability to have remembrance that's easier to gather. Like, we've always wanted to do like a trip to Germany to see, like, oh, well, this is where your mom came from and this is where she lived and all that, but there was always for them, there was circumstances that would keep them here. It's like pets and all that other stuff. All right, Simba. I had a feeling that you would be the first to ask, or the one to ask. Seems like you are doing very well. You're doing a lot better from what I'm feeling from you. A lot less on edge and wanting to hide away from the world, to tune away, leave the energy behind, to escape the energy that's dragging you down. You seem to have a lot better grasp on your energy and where you're directing it and how you wish to direct it. Beginning to step into that portion. You do really well. Let's see if I have colors. Black, blue, purple, orange, purple and orange. Which is very vibrant is what I'm getting. Very, very vibrant. Your creativity is very high. You're definitely getting that kick of creativity this month. I think it would be, from my own perspective, it'd be a great time to start with concept ideas about how you want to go with your book. But at the same time, drawing and illustration work would definitely be up your alley. Photography too. All of these things. You can do all of them. Do all of them willy-nilly. Jump into one after the other. And Shelly, yay! Shelly. Yeah, you're definitely going Simba. Yeah, like you have a lot of it's like gravity. You have a lot of pull right now with the black. It's not like power, but it is powerful, but it's more like a pull. Like you're definitely drawing in a lot. It's not black as in really bad. It's like black as in everything. You're pulling everything in, but in a good way. You're using it for like inspiration and drive, and that's where that extra creativity seems to be rising from. All right, Shelly. Shelly, from you, I get like instant tingling in my spine. Oh, the tingling is like your support networks. Like a lot of work is being put into the support that you're getting from the people around you, family members, friends. Feels like they're finally beginning to stand for themselves as like an observation to you. Like because of observing the way you handle yourself, they're stepping into themselves. So it's like through your example, there are other people in your life that are beginning to live a more stable, hence the spine, more stable life. Yeah, I tend to be good at tuning in when I'm in this state. Like usually when I'm in a live stream, it works really well. Outside of a live stream, it takes me a bit because I've managed to find a way to throw myself off, but I'm getting better at it though. I'm getting good at it. So yeah, Shelly, you're getting a big support network going from the people around you. I'm getting a lot of heart pressure, like this is something that you've either wanted to hear or something that you've been suspecting, but you've seen only so little, so you're wondering if it's going to come full circle. Again, it is. It's going to come full circle. They're going to be there for you when you really need them. They're really going to step up and be the support that you need, because it feels like for a long time you were that backbone, but they're going to be stepping in to do it too. I know what that feels like. Yeah, they're going to be there when you need them. They're going to be there. Shall I get a lot of white? Really soothing, like an enveloping. Like you're not needing for anything. You're just really owning your space, and that space is really giving back. It definitely is beginning to mirror the way you're expressing yourself and the way it's going to be expressing itself for you in the future. There's some blue in there, kind of like sapphire blue. Yeah, it's like a very deep calm. Like it's like you're sitting in a very empty pool or a very still pond, and like nothing is really overwhelming or trying to overtake you. You're very balanced. I thought of an animal and I saw a stag. Let's see something. Thank you very much, Shelley. And thank you, Soba. I'm glad I'm reading correctly. I haven't really talked to either of you in a while. So yeah, for Shelly it's a stag, and for Simba I saw a snake. But not quite. I think it was like a cobra or something. Hold on. I want to make sure. Because snake does come really close to what you've been up to for a while. But yeah. Very welcome to the both of you. It's an honor to actually do a reading and be down. That makes sense. And it was like it was almost like there was no detail. It was just like a shadow. But snakes is like shedding the old. But it's like shedding the old is one of the things that they stand for. So it actually makes a lot of sense for me to see a snake and for you to draw one. This one is very synchronistic with you, Simba. So majestic. Yeah. You should, and then post it and then show it off to everyone. Right, Simba, you and I connected. Having so much. I actually like that though. I feel like every now and again I'm really resonant with you guys. It's really easy for different members, different days, different months, stuff like that. Different moments. Everyone's resonating. New York show? I have no idea what that is. Yes. I aim for everybody to be able to connect with me easily. That's amazing. It's really cool. Do you have a picture or do you have the actual show? I would doubt if you have an actual show with you. Yeah, thank you. It's an honor to do your guys' reading. I never actually do it. Do readings at all. Haha. For some reason, I got the feeling that it was like 50-50. I don't know why. I think too much thought was getting into it. Methinks too much. Got it. Spain. Cool. Ooh. They're very spiny. This Murex you would not want to find at the bottom of the ocean. Stab you. Leave you for dead. It's very well protected though. This one will hold you up in a back alley and underwater. Take your money, take your wallet, take your life. It's really cool looking. That's for sure. That est pretty. Oh. I like how Google has been freaking out this entire time on my phone. Let me stop Google. There's nothing going on. It's alright. I know my energy's a little much right now. You'll live. Unfortunately. Well, it's been... Yeah, Yulia comes on. Hey. I was just about to get off too. Showed up just at the end of it. I was actually telling them about that video that you shared about Matt talking about dignity, but I didn't talk about the take your power back, and also the characters that I met in Michigan. The caricatures. That's the word. I will rewatch. Very cool. It's probably going to render forever. Yep, Shelly and Simba got a reading too. I also did that before I left. Would you like one before I go? Well, she already went and disappeared. Oh, she is still there. I can't really tell how many people are still viewing this because the viewer count is kind of messed up. Yes. All right. Let's do it. Ooh. You feel kind of off balance. And I'm pretty sure that's not just my leg. So my right leg feels kind of stiff. Almost like you got stuck in a grave or something. Like there was something keeping it there, in a sense. In or out of balance? Kind of out of balance, but also like through making the balance work, you sort of overdid it, in a sense. Like one side is a little too forward. One side's a little... the other side is really good, but it seems like right side. So basically, actions that you're taking. So what actions are you taking that are going, in a sense, too far, too deep? That's not in rhythm with your creativity or your emotions right now. So there's like a balance. Balance seems to be the biggest thing for you right now. It's something that you're getting better at because you're finding the right things for you right now to begin to understand what it is. And one of the things was definitely the dignity thing that Matt was talking about. And you're getting there. Just with action, you need to be more I get the word gentle. It's more like with your actions, you're overstepping to overcorrect the current. But your current is changing, and you already have balance. Yeah, less action, but you got to keep it in tone with your emotions, how you're feeling. So you got to allow them to coexist with each other and allow them to settle. Because so long as there's one that's out of step with the other, you're always going to feel like it's just not enough right now, that there's something missing. But you are everything that you need right now. You've got everything. You've got a good handle on it. And even though things didn't quite mix and flow the way you would have liked it to, you are going to get back something the moment you realize it never left. More like it will never leave. Like there's something almost like a vice grip around your heart. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Like it's like a crushing sadness, not a just feel bad, but a really hard time to just sit and not do something. To actually have to pace yourself seems painful, like really painful right now. But what is it exactly that makes it painful for you, Julia? What, I used to say to um, parents and to Zahn to use the emotions to paint a picture. I feel like using the right avenue, you can do both. That you'll possibly know what that is. You are worthy, and you'll always be worthy. Paint, create something. Use them both at the same time, because so long as you're out of step with yourself currently, it's just going to make it hurt more. And I know I had a big problem with making sure that I'm in step with myself without hurting myself, which is the whole procrastination thing. But even though you want things to change right now, know that it's going to change, and it will always be ready for change. Just give yourself the authority and the respect and the ability to come to terms with it, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. It's you. you have to respect you and hold yourself to that, to knowing who it is you want to be moving forward. And yeah, your action and your emotions, they got to work in tangent. They have to work in unison to bring about what it is that you are wanting to heal right now. Because your art's going to reflect exactly what it is that you need to heal. And it will allow you to have something to look at and to focus on to do the healing. Very welcome. Yeah. You're going to be alright. We're all going to be alright. Everyone is loved, and there's always someone here to help you and to help us, because we're never alone with the cosmic group, and everyone's willing to share ideas and concepts and ideas. And we definitely need to be there for each other when we have moments, and we need to understand each other better and be willing to understand ourselves the best through others' guidance and with their authenticity to show us our authenticity. It'll be alright. Everything is going well for you and everybody. Interesting. Yeah, definitely share it, because I'm not. I'm gonna head off, and hopefully there's enough information on here to help you, and hopefully the reading helped you. I see pink, which is a call for to be gentle. Gentle and be more in step with your will, like where you're putting your will. It's like a yellowish green. It seems to be like heal your will. Take your will and find the divine within you. You can go through fire, and everyone will survive so long as they have belief in themselves. And you are definitely strong and resilient, so you got this. But yeah, be gentle. You're healing, and know that you're healing, but this will also take a certain pace. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. In other words. Your power back to you. Much love, everybody. May your hearts be... I'm not going to get copyrighted for that, but if you've ever played Kingdom Hearts, may your heart be your guiding blank. There's enough space in between, so this. Very welcome again. Very welcome. And you have a good morning. Same to you, Simba. And same to Shelly if she's here. Good mornings, good days, good evenings, good nights. All for your benefit, and may every moment grant insights and bring out the betterment in everyone. Animal. A crane. A crane comes to mind. Many blessings. Oh, Shelly. I'm always up for this. I actually enjoy this a lot. I just gotta talk to my lady and get some sleep because it's 3:25. Yeah, love you guys. Big hug to everyone who's here and who will be here in the future. Hugs. We definitely should, and I should definitely choose. I'll choose the perfect time next time I do this, so nothing to worry about there. I have confidence. Yeah. Take care, everyone. Till next time. May the energies be gentle and the days be filled with wonder.